Hello everybody, this is Gregory with how I lost over 100 pounds and have kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and in your weight maintenance. Today we're going to posit the question if bisphenol A or plasticizers in general make us fat. Now before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, especially from the psychological point of view, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also check out my courses, my website, Naturopathic Earth, which has tons of articles and recipes, my 3 podcasts, my books, and if you appreciate my content, there is a link for PayPal. All right, so some of you might know if you followed me, maybe many of you don't know, but The Awakened Man was originally Holistic Health News when I started in 2017, and this was the kind of content that I was doing quite a bit of, and all those podcast episodes are still there, about just toxicants in our life, whether it be electromagnetic radiation or fluoride in our water or plastics and so forth, or antibiotics making us fat, stuff like that. So definitely go check out those old episodes because I flesh them out in longer ones than these little 7-8 minute treatments. But let's cover bisphenol A. So where can we find bisphenol A? Bisphenol A is a plasticizer. So there are benefits of having plastics. And imagine glass syringes and glass IVs and all these things that were breakable. And so certainly plastics have made things easier for us in many ways. That being said, it's always a Faustian pact, and there's always bad things that come with good things. And with plastics, we never really question like, well, how does this affect our body? We just thought, oh, well, this makes our life convenient, having these plastic bags or plastic water bottles or so forth. But how does it affect our body? So before we talk about that, let's talk about where do we find bisphenol A? So clearly, there's going to be in the plastics. It's going to also be in laser receipts. When they print out the receipts, don't touch those things. I feel bad for workers at supermarkets and so forth because they're touching them all the time. Also, the inside of all cans. So when you have a can of beans or whatever, that stuff's been swimming in bisphenol A. CDs, even though I guess CDs aren't that common. And then just anything that's plastic, and it is the most ubiquitous plasticizer out there. Now, when you see a BPA-free item, just understand that it's a bait and switch. They've taken out bisphenol A, but they've put it in another plasticizer, bisphenol S or Triton or one of these other brands of plasticizers, because the plastic lobby group is exceedingly powerful, and understandably so. I mean, they make a lot of money off of plastics, and they're going to try to diminish any suggestion or studies that say that plastic is bad for us. That being said, plastic is bad for us. Now, I'm not going to quote a lot of studies, but you can go to PubMed, which is kind of the database of published medical journals, and I'll put a link in even for Scientific America, and you can see it here, the title of it right here. BPA may prompt more fat in the human body, and it talks about it, really breaks it down there. And there's just tons of stuff online about this that I talked about way back in 2017. That the way BPA is metabolized by the body leads to fat storage, or as they say, may lead to fat storage. And just like the episode we did on our antibiotics being injected into animals making us fat, it's the same issue here. With the antibiotics being injected into animals, they intentionally do this to make the animals fatter because they can therefore sell it for more. You get more chicken breast, more meat, or whatever. And they never really contemplate, or maybe they could contemplate, but we've talked about in that episode about how big food doesn't really care about you. They're like, hey, we don't care, we're making more money off of you guys. So even if you're not taking antibiotics orally or injected into the buttocks when you get an infection, of a bacterial infection, you could be getting this stuff by just eating meat. So with bisphenol A, the way it's broken down by the liver can lead to fat storage. So it's one of those things that it's not, I would say, one of the major reasons that perhaps you've been having difficulty losing weight. That normally comes down to just move the body, shock the body, affecting changes to our diet and so forth, and our sleep. I would say those are the big 3. But there are these little things that could affect us, like affecting our stress level, for example, or we've talked about GMO food, we've talked about monosodium glutamate being an obesogen, these little things. And so with BPA, it is one of those things that it's foreign to the body. The body has a difficult time breaking this down because, again, through most of human history, through most of human history, millions of years we didn't have plastics, of course. And so the body's like, what is this? So I would tell you, don't have plastics in the house. Now look, I've mentioned this in a previous episode. BPA and all the plasticizers leach quicker when you heat them up. So the worst thing you can do, styrofoam for example, is a type of plastic, styrene. I have an early episode over at The Awakened Man, how it has links to cancer as well. But don't warm up plastics. Don't put stuff in Tupperware and put it in the microwave. And in fact, just throw out all your Tupperware, and you can do it. I lived at a house for 3 years that didn't have a microwave. And at the beginning, I was like, wow, this is big. But you just put it on the stove, right? Or toaster oven. You can do it. So throw that stuff out. Throw it out. You can have glass containers like Pyrex. There is nothing wrong with having those containers. Ceramics. You can still have containers. Just don't use plastic. And in particular, it is probably more problematic when it's a liquid swimming in it. So something like soup in a can is going to be fundamentally different, or a soda bottle, Coke swimming in that plastic, than let's say you getting a bag of pretzels. So a bag of pretzels, the pretzels are not touching the lining of the plastic nearly as much. It's just more kind of in a suspension. But when you look at sodas, when you look at cans of soup or cans of whatever, cans of corn, that stuff's been swimming in there for months. So throw away all your plastics, because it's a hormone disruptor. Bisphenol A is a hormone disruptor in general, and we know a lot of hormone disruptors can make us overweight. We know a lot of hormone disruptors can lead to infertility. So you look at fluoride, for example, and they can lead to cancer. So just for those overall health reasons, you should just throw out all the plastics in your kitchen. And really, there's no reason to have them when you can just get Pyrex glass containers that pretty much can do the exact same thing. And I would probably tell you throw out your microwave as well. Because if there's any sniff that plastics may help you accumulate fat on your body, and if you're wanting to lose weight, especially if you need to lose a lot of weight, toss them out. There's no reason to be beholden to these plastics. Just toss them out, because we have easy alternatives out there in the market. So toss them out, and just be wary in general. Don't touch laser receipts. Just touch them on the edge. Don't touch them on the ink if you need to keep receipts. Canned goods, I just don't even buy canned goods, because the BPA-free ones still have bisphenol S. So try to limit your canned goods, and certainly bottled water and sodas. I mean, you shouldn't even be drinking either of those. We'll have a future episode on bottled water. What's the problem with that? But just eliminate plastics. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.